Okay, this is a video about the CAGED system. It's nothing to do with cages. We'll start at the beginning. Okay, when you start learning the guitar, we learn some open chords, let's say C major, A major, G major, E major, and D major. That's all very well, but we're stuck down here at the bottom of the guitar. We probably want to play some chords that are further up. And the way we're going to do that is to make some bar chords. What's happening is your first finger is covering this part of the guitar, the nut, to move up. So if I take E for instance, I can move my shape up, but the open strings get left behind. So what I'm going to do is move up the notes that were sort of played by the nut here with my first finger. So I'm going to make the same shape that I did with these other fingers in E, reserving this finger to become my bar. So if I move that up to, say, the third position, this note's a G, we get G major in an E shape. If we move it up to the fifth position, we get A major. It's great for the guitar. We don't need to know really what the notes are. We don't need to know this is an E, A, C sharp, etc. We just know that if we play this shape, it comes out as a major chord. You can just move it around. As long as you know your E string, it's a great way of opening up the guitar. Similarly, we can use all the other chords that I just went through, the C, A, etc. We'll make a bar chord out of those. The relevance of CAGED, again, it's nothing to do with cages. It's the order in which the chords appear up the neck. So if I was to play C major in all these different shapes, which we'll go through in a minute, we get the order C shape, A shape, G shape, E shape, D shape. Okay, we'll just examine that in a bit more detail. So the lowest chord I can play in a C is my open C chord. If we look at the word cage, the next chord we're going to play is an A shape, a C chord in an A shape. So let's play our A chord, taking away this first finger as our bar. Because the chord is based on the A string, what we want to find is a C on that string. So we go up our alphabet, we've got C, A, B, and then we come to C here. We already know where that is because we've played it with our C chord. We're basing that shape on our C that's marked in green on the diagram. So we've got our C chord in a C shape, we've got a C chord in an A shape. Incidentally, these two chords are based on the same root note. So both the C shape and the A shape are based on the A string, or the root note that you choose if you played a different key on the A string. So these go together. So it's quite useful when you're learning this, if you're playing in a different key, say E, that these two chords go together. You can immediately see the pattern happening. Okay, back to our C then. Next letter in the word caged is G. So let's start with our G shape. We have to take this finger out of the equation so that we've got it to make our bar here. Our G shape chord is based on the E string. So again, we want to find a C on the E string. C on the E string is at the 8th fret. So we're moving this note from G to C, we make that chord shape. So we've got a C major chord in a G shape. Okay, let's let's just recap that. We've got C major in a C shape, C major in an A shape, C major in a G shape. Next chord is going to be E, an E shape. So let's look at our E shape again. Here we go. Here's E. Make it into a bar chord. Take away this finger. Make the same shape. The root note is on the E string. So we're going to find a C on the E string. It's the same one as we just played on the G. There, at the 8th fret there. We move this chord up. We get a C in an E shape. So again, we've got C in a C shape, C in an A shape, C in a G shape, C in an E shape. Next chord shape we're going to play is a D shape. Here's our D shape. Again, we're taking this first finger away to move, so we can move it up and down. Our root note for this chord is on the D string, so we need to find a C on the D string. Easiest way of doing that is if we go D open, D octave. Think about the alphabet, what comes before? D, C. So it's 2 frets lower than D. And we get our C chord in a D shape. Another way of finding that root note would be, we've got our E shape here. Here's our C. If we go down 2 strings, up 2 frets, we get an octave from this note. So again, it's another useful device. If we were playing in a different key, say A, we can easily find our D shape, 2 strings, 2 frets higher, we've got D shape there. There's our E shape, there's our D shape. Okay, the chord we haven't played is a bar chord form of our C chord. This is our open version because we're using open strings. We want to make that into a bar chord and shift it right up to where C is on the A string. We're barring across at the 12th fret there. We get C again. So just to recap all those things, we've got C in a C shape, we've got C in an A shape, again showing the same root note there, one's kind of behind, one's on the top if you like. Then we've got C chord in a G shape and C chord in an E shape, and those 2 chords share the same root note there on the E string. We've got one kind of odd one out, which is on the D string. It's a D chord, D shape, so it's a C in a D shape. C, C again, C again, C, C, and then we've got the one at the top there. Okay, we've done C, that's fairly straightforward I would say. What happens if we want to play in a different key? And this is again a great way of practicing, is to go around the cycle of fifths, circle of fourths, whatever, and just pick out a random chord. The first thing we want to do is find out what is the lowest chord shape I can play. So if we say, let's take B for instance, the lowest B we can play is on the A string, so it's either going to be the C chord, C shape, or the A shape. We can't play the C shape because it doesn't work. We're too far down the guitar. So the first chord that makes sense is our A shape chord. Again, we're using the word caged in order. We've got an A shape. The next one is going to be our G shape. We're finding the root note on the E string. There's our B. Remember we've got our dots here, G, A, B. we've got a G shape. So we've got B major in a G shape, B major in an A shape, B major in a G shape. Next one up is going to be an E shape, B. Again, sharing the same root there, here, marked in green on the diagram. We've got our E shape. So B major in an E shape. Next letter in our CAGED is D. We're using the octave rule here. So 2 strings down, 2 frets higher. There's B again. We make the shape of D, move it up to there. And we've got a B major in a D shape. Next chord, we have to go back to the beginning of the word CAGED, C. Remember that the C shape was based on the A string. We couldn't play it here, so we're going to play it an octave higher. There's A, look, on our octave, up to B, and then we can make the same shape, C, to play our B major. So B major in a C shape. So let's just recap that. We've got the lowest chord we can play is our A shape, so B major in an A shape. Then we've got B major in a G shape. Then we've got B major in an E shape. Then we've got B major in a D shape. Then we've got B major in a C shape. So what you want to do is, as I say, pick a key that you want to find these chords in and just work out from the lowest point, and that should give you the order. So for instance, if we take F sharp, the lowest F sharp we can play is an E shape. So the next shape up in an F sharp chord we can play is D, and so on. Okay, happy practicing.